The first time Yemi said, "I love you," Iken Namdi forgot his mother's name for 3 days. He didn't hit his head. He wasn't drunk. He simply woke up one morning and couldn't remember the woman who raised him. It was only after his first billion dropped into his account that he realized what had been taken, not by accident, but by exchange. Because nothing about Yemi's love was ordinary. She was the kind of woman who never entered a man's life to share it. She came to own it. And by the time Ikenna understood that, it was already too late. His parents were gone, his soul was not his, and his shadow no longer obeyed him. 2 years earlier, Iken was just another struggling engineer from Imo State, trying to make sense of Lagos life. He lived in a small flat in Egbeda, with more unpaid bills than friends. His parents called every Sunday from Owerri, asking when he would come home, but shame had kept him in the city. He had tried everything. Contracts, construction proposals, hustles that never ended. But Lagos always swallowed his efforts like rain in red sand. Then came Yemi. He met her on a humid Thursday at a networking dinner in Lekki. She wasn't the loud type. She moved quietly, like someone who didn't need to prove she belonged anywhere. Her skin was the color of soft bronze, her voice low and smooth, and when she smiled, it was the kind of smile that made people forget what they were saying mid-sentence. She was Yoruba, from a lineage she rarely spoke about. But there was something about her that drew eyes. Not beauty alone, but an aura. When she shook his hand, she held it for one heartbeat too long. "Iken Namdi," she said softly. "You'll be a very powerful man one day." He laughed awkwardly. "You sound like my pastor." "I'm not a pastor," she said, smiling. "I just see things." From that night, everything changed. Yemi began showing up in his life in ways that felt both planned and supernatural. When he lost a client, she called 10 minutes later to say she had someone better. When his landlord threatened eviction, her uncle offered him a contract. Within 6 months, he was driving a Mercedes, living in Lekki, and his name was floating in the same conversations as men he once admired from afar. He started believing she was his good luck charm. His mother didn't. When Iken finally visited home that Christmas, she pulled him aside after dinner. "Who's the girl behind all this sudden success?" "Her name's Yemi," he said proudly. "She's different, Mama. She makes things happen." His mother's face tightened. "Different? How?" I don't know. Just powerful." She crossed herself. "Iken, power without God, is poison." He laughed it off. "Mama, it's 2022, not 1922. You worry too much." But when he returned to Lagos, Yemi was waiting in his living room, even though he hadn't told her when he was coming back. "How did you get in?" he asked, half startled. She smiled. "You left the door open for me." He checked. The door was locked. From that point, things began to blur. Yemi started controlling his schedule. She told him when to rest, what contracts to reject, and who to stop talking to. "It's for your safety," she said one night, lying across his chest. "Some people carry energy that blocks blessings." He believed her. When his mother called to say she was sick and needed him to come home, Yemi pressed her fingers over his mouth. "Don't go," she whispered. "If you do, something bad will happen." He stayed. His mother recovered without him, but the guilt stuck to him like smoke. Yemi introduced him to a new circle, rich men who greeted her with an unsettling kind of respect. They called her Asterisk, Madam Yemi, even though she was younger than all of them. Whenever she entered a room, the atmosphere shifted. Men lowered their voices, women adjusted their necklaces, and business deals suddenly turned favorable. Ikenna once asked her, "What exactly do you do for them?" She smiled. I make them win. How? She leaned close, her perfume dizzying. He didn't ask what that meant. He didn't want to. But the next week, his company secured a contract that men twice his age had been chasing for years. He called his father jubilant. Papa, they approved it. I made it. His father sighed over the line. I'm happy for you, my son. But remember, not all open doors lead to heaven. Those words stayed with him longer than he expected. One night, Iken woke up at 2 a.m. to find Yemi standing by the window, humming softly. The moonlight carved her outline against the curtain. What are you doing? He asked sleepily. Just praying, she said. He frowned. To who? She turned slowly and smiled. To the one who answers fastest? He didn't ask again. But when he woke up the next morning, his email pinged with news. Another major company wanted him on a multi-million naira project. He looked at Yemi. She was already smiling, as if she'd known all along. By the end of that year, Ikene was worth over 800 million naira. He changed cars like clothes. People called him the Imo Miracle. His parents called him less. Every time they did, Yemi found a reason for him not to pick up. They don't understand what you've become, she'd whisper. They're afraid of losing you. But you belong to something bigger now. He started believing her. Until one Sunday morning, when he went into her dressing room to get his cufflinks, and saw something that made his blood run cold. A small clay bowl sat behind her perfume bottles. Inside was a photo of him, his parents, and something black and stiff, a dead butterfly glued to his face. He picked it up slowly. Yemi, what is this? She appeared behind him silently. You weren't supposed to see that. What is it? It's protection. For who? She smiled faintly. For me? That night, he dreamt of his father standing in their old compound in Owerri, holding a candle. Ekeni, the old man said, your name is being eaten. He woke up, sweating, heart pounding. Yemi was asleep beside him, smiling faintly even in her dreams. He stared at her. And for the first time, he didn't feel love. He felt fear. Because somewhere deep inside, he knew. Every miracle she brought into his life came with a silent exchange. And the debt was almost due. It began subtly. Not with fights, but with silence. Ikene stopped calling home. His parents' numbers felt like strange digits saved by an old version of himself. When his mother managed to reach him one morning, her voice trembled through the speaker. Ikene, are you all right? We don't hear from you anymore. He hesitated before answering. I've just been busy, Mama. She sighed. It's not Lagos life, my son. Something has changed in your voice. When we know. When we sent 100 and the fond. Yemi, sitting across the room, glanced up from her tea. Who's that? She asked softly. My mother. Yemi's eyes hardened. Tell her to stop calling during working hours. It's distracting. Ikene frowned. She's my mother, Yemi. She leaned forward, still calm but her tone low. Then she should behave like one. Always calling. Always complaining. She doesn't want you to rise. Haven't you noticed? He blinked. What do you mean? Yemi smiled, that slow, dangerous smile. Some mothers love their sons. Others love the control they have over them. Ask yourself which one yours is. That night, Ekene couldn't sleep. His mother's voice echoed in his mind, but Yemi's words drowned it. By morning, he had blocked her number. 2 weeks later, he received a call from his father instead. Ekene, my son, what's happening? Your mother is sick. She hasn't eaten for days. She's worried about you. Iken rubbed his temples. Papa, You've changed, his father said quietly. Even the way you talk sounds different. I'm busy, Papa. Busy doing what? Ignoring your blood? Yemi appeared behind him and gently pressed the red button to end the call. She smiled. There. Peace. That night, she cooked a special meal, spicy pepper soup, and palm wine that smelled faintly of herbs. To new beginnings, she said, handing him a glass. They clinked glasses. After drinking, Ikene's head felt heavy. The walls seemed to shift slightly, breathing around him. Yemi, he muttered. What's in this drink? Truth, she whispered. The kind your parents hid from you. He stared at her, dazed. That you were never meant to succeed. That your mother prayed against your wealth because she feared it would take you away from her. That your father resents you because you remind him of every dream he failed to achieve. He shook his head weakly. Isn't it? She whispered, her fingers tracing his temple. When was the last time they blessed you without questioning how you made your money? His heart pounded. She was right. They had questioned everything. Every deal. Every gain. Your bloodline carries envy, she murmured. But don't worry. I'll help you wash it away. After that night, Ikena's dreams changed. He started seeing his parents in strange places. His mother standing at the end of a dark corridor, eyes sunken. His father whispering his name, but his lips sewn shut. Each time he woke up, Yemi was beside him, wide awake, watching. Nightmares again? She would ask softly. He would nod. Then we must finish the cleansing soon, she'd say. The cleansing began the following week. She led him to a small shrine outside Epi, deep in the forest, under the pretense of meeting a spiritual consultant for his business. The air there was thick with smoke and silence. An old man in white waited by a bowl of black water. Yemi whispered something in Yoruba that Ekene didn't understand. The old man nodded, then turned to Ekene. Your parents are the root of your blockage, the man said. Ekene's chest tightened. Separate how? Cut the connection, the man said. In this bowl are their names. All you must do is wash your hands in it and say, let their blood have no hold on me. Ekene froze. That sounds like freedom, Yemi interrupted. You've worked too hard to let sentiment chain you. He hesitated, then slowly dipped his hands in the black water. It felt warm, alive. Say it, Yemi whispered. He closed his eyes. Let their blood have no hold on me. The moment he said it, wind tore through the hut, extinguishing every candle. He gasped, stumbling backward. What was that? The old man smiled faintly. You are now your own. When they left the forest, Ikane felt strangely lighter, but also empty, like something vital had been quietly stolen. The following week, his father collapsed in Owerri. His mother swore she heard Ikene's voice, calling her name moments before it happened. She called him frantically, but her number was still blocked. When she managed to reach him through a friend's phone, she cried, Ikena, your father is dying. He hesitated. I'll send money. Money? We need you. Yemi snatched the phone from him. Mama, please stop disturbing my husband. If he wanted to be there, he would. Goodbye. She ended the call before the old woman could reply. Ekene turned on her. Why would you do that? She stared at him coldly. Because your father's sickness is not sickness. It's the result of his jealousy. He's paying the price for what he wished you. That's nonsense. Then go and see for yourself, she said softly, her eyes glittering. But remember, the moment you step into that house again, everything you have will vanish. That night, Ekene sat in the dark, tormented. His phone kept lighting up with calls from home. He wanted to answer, but fear kept his fingers frozen. When he finally slept, he dreamt of Yemi standing between him and his parents, smiling as chains rose from the ground, binding him to her. He woke up drenched in sweat. He rushed to the bathroom, splashed water on his face, and looked into the mirror. But the reflection, staring back at him, smiled before he did. He stumbled back, trembling. From the bedroom, Yemi's voice floated out softly. "You can't leave me, Ikene. Not now. We're one body, one soul." Her words echoed, chilling and final. And for the first time, he realized, Yemi wasn't just controlling him. She had become him. The days after that realization were a blur. Iken stopped going to the office. He stopped bathing. He barely ate. Yemi said he was purging old energy, but it felt more like dying slowly, in luxury. Sometimes, she would hum softly beside him, her voice hypnotic, a tune that made his chest ache with both peace and dread. Other times, she'd whisper things into his ear while he drifted between sleep and madness. "Your parents never loved you. They gave birth to you. But I made you. You're mine, Ikena. Forever." Asterisk. He began repeating those words unconsciously, like a prayer. His parents, meanwhile, had grown desperate. His mother's health worsened, and his father could no longer reach him. The few people who tried visiting said Yemi wouldn't let anyone near the house. One evening, Ikene's old friend Obina came unannounced. "Guy, you look finished," Obina said, shocked at the sight of him. "Nah, who do you like this?" Yemi appeared at the stairs, calm and elegant, holding a glass of wine. "He's fine. You may leave." Obina frowned. "Madam, I'm not talking to you." Before he could finish, Ikane snapped. "Obina, respect my wife." Yemi smiled faintly. "Good boy." Later that night, Yemi made him burn Obina's contact list and delete every old friend's number. "Dead leaves don't belong on a growing tree," she said. The next morning, news broke that Obina's car had exploded on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Akane stared blankly at the TV, unable to breathe. Yemi, beside him, simply said, "He shouldn't have interfered." After that, the nightmares began. Every night, he saw his parents standing in the rain, calling his name. Sometimes their faces melted. Sometimes Yemi stood between them, smiling. When he woke, she was always awake, watching him. "You're fighting destiny," she would whisper. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to stop the voices in his head, but one thing terrified him more: the thought of losing her. Yemi had become both his poison and his cure. Meanwhile, in Owerri, his parents grew restless. His mother said she couldn't sleep without dreaming of her son tied to a chair, a woman's voice whispering Yoruba incantations into his ear. One night, she jolted awake, screaming, "They've taken him!" Her husband knelt beside her, gripping her hand. "Then we must go to Lagos, before we lose him completely." By the time they arrived, Ekini's mansion was surrounded by silence. The gateman hesitated before opening the gate. "Sir, Oga no day see anybody again. Madam say nobody must enter." But Ikini's father pushed past him and shouted, "Ikini, my son." After several minutes, Ikane appeared at the balcony. He looked thinner, hollow, like someone being drained from the inside. "Mama? Papa?" Yemi emerged behind him, calm as ever, a faint smile on her lips. "They came uninvited," she said softly. "Yemi, please," his mother begged. "We just want to see our son." Yemi's eyes glinted. "Your son? That's funny. Because the man standing here belongs to me now." "Belongs to you?" His father snapped. "Are you God? Are you God?" She tilted her head, closer, But Akine interrupted. Papa, Mama, please go. You're making things worse. His mother's face fell. My son, what have they done to you? Nothing, he barked. This is who I am now. Yemi touched his arm gently, like a conductor quieting an orchestra. That's enough, love. And just like that, he went silent. That night, the sky cracked open with thunder. Rain poured as Ikena's parents knelt by the gate, praying aloud, refusing to leave. Inside, Ekene was pacing the living room, muttering to himself. Yemi watched him with amusement. You hear them calling, don't you? He covered his ears. They won't stop. Then make them stop, she whispered. There's oil in the store. Pour it by the gate. End their hold on you. He froze. I want you to be free. Yemi, that's madness. Love is madness, she said softly. Now choose. Them? He grabbed the can and walked to the gate in the rain. His parents were still praying, their hands raised. When they saw him, they cried out, Ikene! He dropped the can. The rain splashed his face, washing away the confusion. He fell to his knees. Mama, Papa. His mother rushed forward, clutching him. My son. Wake up. You've been under a spell. Behind them, Yemi screamed. A sharp, otherworldly sound that shook the air. Ikene turned, horrified. Her face had changed, her eyes glowing faintly red, her hair whipping wildly as if moved by unseen wind. Don't touch him, she shrieked. He's mine. But his mother held tighter, weeping. Whoever you are, you'll not take my child. Then she began praying, fast, desperate, words spilling in Igbo and English. Every strange covenant, every evil tie, break, now. Yemi staggered backward, hissing. The wind roared. The earth trembled. Ekena screamed as invisible chains cracked across his body. Mama, it's burning. His father gripped his shoulder. Fight it, my son. Remember who you are. Lightning flashed, and for a split second, they saw Yemi's true form. Her skin crawling with black markings, her eyes dark and endless like the sea at midnight. She let out a piercing cry and vanished into the air like smoke sucked into a flame. Then silence. The rain stopped. Ekene collapsed into his mother's arms, unconscious. 3 days later, he woke up in an Oweri hospital. His parents were beside him, their faces worn but relieved. Where's Yemi? He whispered weakly. His mother looked away. Gone. He nodded slowly. Good. But that night, as the ward lights flickered and the generator hummed, he heard it. Faint, but clear. A woman's voice, right beside his ear. Did you really think it was over? His body froze. Because the voice wasn't his mother's. It was Yemi's. Soft, familiar, and smiling.